and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shel Patnagar. This is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the closing action on the D Street. The markets have soared higher. We have a new record high on the Nifty. We did hit a 24,437 mark intraday in trade today. Strong surge is being seen across the board, be it the banking space, autos, consumer durables, PSU banks, pharma, FMCG. These are the spaces that are outperforming in the markets today. But there's one stock that has driven the Nifty to all-time high levels today, and that is Maruti Suzuki. A strong surge. We did see 7.5% move on an intraday basis. Right now as well, if you look at the Maruti stock, 12,820 is the level at which this stock is trading at currently. We'll also be welcoming our top guests on the show, but good afternoon to all our viewers first, and good afternoon, Shell. Maruti Day.
Absolutely, Sakshi, and this was the part of our opening commentary.
Yeah.
Mangalwar hai to Mangal hoga hi. A record high on the Nifty, probably boosted by this SIP number for the monthly mutual fund investments that has come in, a record high 21,260 crores a month. So on a regular basis, Sakshi, 1,000 crores every day, 22 working days, 21,260 is what is coming in on a daily basis. This is up 1.7% over May when it was 20,904. And hold your breath, this month in June, 40,000 crore rupees has come into mutual funds. There were new fund offers, there are bond funds that are also attracting money, but all put together 21,000 crores in monthly SIPs and 19,000 crores including NFOs in other funds. So it's going well, and I'd just like to point out the 12,600 Maruti call that we had caught at 230 to 40 rupees at about 9:15. And that, ladies and gentlemen, has risen dramatically. 391 rupees is what the price is, and you will not believe what it was a little while earlier. When I had checked, it had gone above 500 rupees. Let me try and show that to you in a moment. What's the high for this one? We'll get back to you. I remember 505. So the limited point is, ladies and gentlemen, one must know when to hit the red hot iron, and Maruti was right for today. It's up 302 rupees, 320 rupees, and what was the all-time high? Just let me just tell that to you. I think it was somewhere like 505, I distinctly remember. So apart from Maruti, which is the top contributor to the Nifty's rally, you have ITC going very strong, a strong move coming into ITC, and look at the contributing factors into the Nifty. ITC is contributing 24 points, Maruti is contributing 26 points to the green, M&M 20 points, ICICI 17, and L&T 7. What is pulling the Nifty down? Reliance by 19, TCS by 4, and then there are minor losers. All put together, gainers outnumber losers by 3:2 on the Nifty, and that's the reason why you have a 102-point uptick on the Nifty. Maruti being the top player, gainer as well as in the Nifty and FNO. You have the Nifty Auto Index at a record high, and apart from that, you have a very, very strong move coming across the board. We track 19 indices for you, ladies and gentlemen. 17 are in the green, and the advanced decline ratio is almost 1:1. 1143 shares in the green, 1048 in the red. Sakshi, what are you watching?
Well, beyond Maruti Suzuki, there's also the tire space now and the ancillary space that's buzzing. Apollo Tires has now shot up within the F&O space, and that's the one that's been buzzing. Yes, there is an entire move. Bosch has started to move again. You have a 3% uptick that's coming in. So the auto ancillary space is also buzzing away. Let's also get our guest now join in. We do have Mr. G. Chokalingam now joining in on this very special edition, and we do know how the kind of stock ideas, value picking he does for our viewers on our show. Rare stocks is something that he really talks about, and we will try and pull out some more names from him today. Warm welcome to you, sir. Always a pleasure to host you. But let's start off with the momentum based stocks, auto space, Maruti, and the auto ancillary space. How are you looking at this fresh momentum?
Yeah, I am not surprised about Maruti. In fact, we have a target price of 13,500 for Maruti. We are quite impressed by progress of Maruti in SUV segment, which is making up for the losses in the the growth momentum in small cars. So ultimately, SUV is going to become a dominant for Maruti within its own sale of passenger vehicles, and also the capacity expansion is a very massive, and both would augur well for Maruti in the short term as well as in the long term. Our short term target is 13,500. My only thing is a word of caution on tire stocks. I don't know how many retail investors are aware of the fact that the natural rubber prices are at a 12-year high, and crude oil price also up 13% year-on-year basis. Both are terribly negative for tire stocks. So otherwise, one can continue to hold large automobile stocks, and one can continue to buy also Maruti if there is even a small dip from the current price.
Okay, got that. So that's the view coming in, and the auto space is in top gear, 2.2% higher in trade. Apart from Maruti, it's M&M that's doing very well in trade right now. Beyond that, we also have stocks like Eicher Motors that's up 1.5%, Hero Moto, Ashok Leyland, Tata Motors, TVS Motors, all upwards of 1%, and of course the ancillary names like Samvardhan, Balakrishna, Exide, MRF, Apollo, Bosch, all of them are in thick momentum as of now. We'll circle back to auto in a bit, but the other space that's buzzing is the FMCG space. Mr. Chokalingam, ITC coming back afresh for 454 odd levels right now. Britannia is moving up. How are you looking at the entire FMCG pack, and where are you keeping your focus right now, sir?
Till a week ago, I was a little concerned about FMCG, but what happened in the last 2-3 days is really phenomenal. Very interesting to know that for the June month as a whole, 50% of the total 36 subdivisions in India failed to receive normal rainfall. But that has changed a lot in the last 5-6 days itself. Now, rainfall has become normal, and 85% of the subdivisions have received a normal rainfall, which is really too good news for FMCG. So definitely ITC is still a buy. We have a target price of 500 rupees. So apart from the uptick from the rural demand, I still believe that as and when the hotel stock is listed, I see a lot of opportunity for investors to unlock substantial value from the hotel stocks, and that probably should be followed up by IT stock unlocking. That's my guess, not a forecast. And these are the two things which will favor ITC in the short to long term. And as far as Britannia is concerned, yes, it is highly sensitive to the rural demand because it has got a lot of share of rural market in biscuits. So this good news on monsoon front is really good news for Britannia. So Britannia also can move up in the short term itself another 5 to 10%.
Okay, Sakshi, two important things to note in both ITC and in Maruti. Both of them are underperformers on a 3-month basis. ITC is just up 6.5%, and Maruti, despite today's rally, is actually flat over the last 3 months. So you need to keep this in mind when we try and find out कि यहाँ से कितना चल सकता है. So there is enough momentum left in the market because of this kind of moves, and especially on ITC and Maruti. Remember, in the same period, the Nifty is up 7.7%. So both stocks have underperformed the Nifty, and this is a catch-up trade which is taking place. ITC has about 7.5-8% open interest that has come up as far as the F&O is concerned, and of course after Maruti, this is the top performer within the Nifty. Very, very strong move coming in both of them. 2.4% higher on ITC futures, 6.5% higher on Maruti futures. What else is buzzing in trade today? Let's take a detour into the markets. I'd just like to mark excessive volatility that we are seeing, and no better stock than RVNL to discuss this. Actually, down 2.3%. About 8,000 crores worth of transactions have been done on RVNL. Remember, it rose 17% in the morning and 8% in the early part of trade today. Now, this is the fun part. Day's low was 534 and day's high was 613. So, within this 85 rupee band, the volatility is 15% compared with the previous day's close. So, this is how traders are being shaken off. This is the volatility on an intraday basis that is coming in, and this is something to be sort of looked at. In any case, these stocks are excessive on the side of valuation, and newer and how should I say, lesser experienced traders are getting into the market. They just might get killed. Record highs today. Apart from the usual suspects, there are very, very interesting names coming in. Wellspun Corp, Amber Enterprises, Aurobindo Pharma and Minda Corp. These are the names that I could make out which are new. Sakshi.
A lot of buzz within the holding companies also now. Shell, Bombay Burma has moved up 15.5% higher in trade, a very strong surge coming in on that front. Jubilant Ingrevia, that's also up. It's up about 12 odd percent right now. That's the kind of move that's coming in within that space, and the entire space seems to be in the thick of action. Beyond this, I'm also looking at the rice stocks. Remember, we had discussed this in the morning. All of them are holding up to strong gains. So, Kohinoor Foods, KRBL, LT Foods, Chamanlal Sethia, all of these stocks are upwards of 7% odd in trade today. A strong surge that can be seen. Let's ask Mr. Chokalingam if this is a space that he's keenly watching right ahead of the budget. Agri focus, rice related stocks, something that could be in the offing in the upcoming budget, sir?
No, rice stocks I have not tracked in the recent time, but definitely, as I mentioned, the monsoon is a big positive for agri sector. So one may probably look at the sellers of tractors, and those who are lucky to hold on to fertilizer stocks, they may continue to hold. Other agri input stocks also one can continue to hold, but the rice stocks I have not tracked in the recent time.
Okay, got that. Let's again look at what about the petchem related stocks. Are you looking at refinery stocks, MRPL, Chennai Petro? The entire space seems to be a buzz with action today. Anything that catches your fancy?
No, I would avoid refinery stocks, refinery oil marketing. Rather, one can focus on the producers of oil and gas, because oil price is up 13%, and we all know the current political situation where there is a lot of demand for fiscal expenses by many state governments. Under the situation when the oil price is rising, I believe that neither government can take the burden nor government can impose the burden on public. So the obvious victim could be the oil marketing companies. And also, if you see the performance of stocks like HPCL in the last 5 years, most undependable in terms of profit stream. So therefore, I would avoid. But I would suggest look at oil and gas producers like ONGC, GAIL. These are some of these companies one can look at instead of looking at refinery and marketing companies.
Okay, there's some more news coming in from Cogensis again with respect to the auto space. Exide and Amara Raja batteries have increased the prices for their batteries. As of now, we do not know what is the 3% is the tariff hike as far as the battery prices are concerned. Up to 3% is the kind of increase that has happened from both Exide and Amara Raja right now. Mr. Chokalingam, battery makers, these stocks have had a good run up in the recent past. Are these fresh triggers to be looked at keenly?
Yeah, good for long term. The investors who are lucky to hold them, they can continue to hold. Buying of such stocks after a massive rally, maybe one can wait till budget.
Fair point. This is something that the entire auto space is buzzing with, Sakshi. It started with Maruti in the morning, and then remember 2-3 days ago we were discussing bus makers, Electra Green as well as the others. Among the record highs that are there in the market, we talked about MotoCorp, but let's look at the auto ancillary space a little more deeply. I believe our friend Mr. Chokalingam is bullish on one stock called Gabriel, but let us see what is buzzing. Okay, Jai Bharat Maruti, 4.5% higher, 113. There's a 10% circuit on Yukon India at 1400 rupees. We've discussed Apollo Tyres a little earlier. Amongst the forging plays, Nelcast 2.5% higher, 152. GNA Axles 2.3% higher, 435. And of course, a strong move coming in Bosch, 3% higher, 35,539. We barely discussed this stock, if at all. And there is a company called Bharat Seats, 7% higher, 168. They also provide seats to Maruti. So that's how the markets are at this point of time. Let's look at ICICI Bank. I think we are at a record high on ICICI Bank today. Let me just find that out as far as the Nifty is concerned. Yes, two stocks at record high. ICICI Bank 1246, about 1% higher, and Dr. Reddy's 0.5% higher at 65.71. In terms of most active, again Maruti is just taking it away. I think today's volumes are 2.5 times the 5-day average, 2.7 times the 5-day average. BPCL going strong, 1.7 times. Britannia 2% higher, 56.80. Mr. Chokalingam has already commented on it. And of course, no stopping ITC. Strong gains and strong volumes. 2.4 crore shares have been traded. How about you, Sakshi? What are you watching?
Within the ancillary space, there is also Sharada Motor Industries that's shot up 18% odd. A very strong move that's coming in. A very rare stock that we ever discuss. It's now priced at 2,900. Very sharp volumes with which it has also moved in trade today. Beyond this, within the broader market space, several other stocks are moving, making a comeback of sorts. So you have RPP Infra that's coming back. You have the tea and coffee makers that we had discussed in the morning, all of them up and about. Dhunseri Tea, 13% higher. Harrison Malayalam, 13% higher. Jayashree Tea, 12% higher. You have the entire space now buzzing with a lot of gains. Mr. Chokalingam, rice does not interest you. How about tea and coffee?
Yeah, I drink a lot of tea, coffee, but unfortunately, I'm not chasing these tea stocks. See, let us see, last 20 years, the tea stocks never performed because the tea prices have been extremely cyclical. But of course, I saw the news that tea prices have jumped. So one can continue to hold, all auto component tea companies, one can continue to hold. At least few days before budget, I would suggest relook at, restructuring your portfolio because most of the time, either pre-budget or post-budget, we have seen a significant correction in the market. So the valuation correction can happen in such stocks. So I suggest hold it, but review few days before the budget.
Okay, got it. Right, so we will continue to focus on some more stocks right there. What else can we ask Mr. Chokalingam? How about the pharma space, sir? Are you looking at the recent moves that are coming in to look at as an opportunity? Within the space, Gland Pharma has shot up in trade, 9.5% higher today. You have Ipca Labs that's up 3%, Alchem Labs, Aurobindo Pharma, Mankind Pharma, Torrent Pharma. The entire pharma space also is abuzz with action, most stocks upwards of 1% higher each. How are you looking at the opportunity here, sir?
No, certainly, except the Gland Pharma, Aurobindo Pharma, all other names you have mentioned, they all look good, no doubt about it. And this is a time to look, hold on to such large pharma stocks for two reasons. As I have been a little nervous about small cap, and secondly, the American market for pharmaceutical is changing in favor of Indian companies, the outlook. So therefore, one should hold on to these stocks.
Okay, got that. You know what else is buzzing? It's the entire power and power financiers space as well, and within the entire space it's IRIDA that's back with a bang after a long haul of consolidation. The stock began to move a few days ago. It's been consistently gaining more traction and now has hit a record high as well. My colleague Asim will be joining in very shortly to help us understand what is really in the kind of buzz. Okay, we'll get Asim in a bit to help us understand the big moves right there. But let's focus on some more stocks then. We are looking at some more stocks within. Okay, Titan is something that let's take Mr. Chokalingam's view by that time. 1.5% higher for Titan right now. There was a brokerage house report that was disappointed with the business update that came in right ahead of the earnings. But again, there was focus on how same-store sales growth of even Kalyan and even Senco Gold, they all look similar. So Goldman Sachs is probably taking that into cognizance again. And the stock is back at 1.5% uptick. How are you looking at the jewelry makers and within that Titan as a whole?
Yeah, as you mentioned, the earning growth may be better for smaller company, but then there is no comparison for management quality and balance sheet quality of Titan. The stock also corrected a lot, almost nearly 15-20%. I looked at the industry reports. In fact, in the industry, there is an expectation that Titan will continue to grow its profit by 12 to 20%. So I think it's a good hold. If there is any small correction also, I think one can definitely buy the stock. I firmly believe that there's a tremendous scope for Sensex and Nifty to go to 90,000 by end of current calendar year and 1 lakh points by end of next calendar year, that is 25. And stocks like Titan, ITC and all should participate in that rally. Therefore, for conservative investors, Titan stock is much far superior than the mid-cap jewelry companies.
Okay. Got that. So we will be keeping a keen eye out on this space too. So we'll just see whether Asim is now with us, and we can go across to Asim to really understand, as far as IRIDA is concerned, the recent action and what are the top brokerages saying as far as IRIDA's outlook is concerned. Asim.
Thanks, Sakshi. So IRIDA stock has consolidated since mid-February, and it has consolidated in a range of 162 to 200 levels till July. Now, since the beginning of July, it has given a strong breakout from the consolidation pattern, and in the next 7 sessions till date, it hit a record high of rupees 254. So it has covered rupees 54 in last 7 sessions. Also, it rose over 3% to a record high today, and in terms of technicals, the stock is trading in an overbought zone. Its RSI lies at 79.6. It's trading above all its moving averages, short term and the long term. Also, the market cap of the firm climbed to rupees 63,511 crore. Most of the analysts we talked to were bullish on the stock. Kushal Gandhi from Stocksbox said he expects the target price at rupees 275 level. He said the stock displays an improving EPS strength, high price strength and buyers demand, which is a positive sign. He also asked buyers to maintain a stop loss at rupees 223. Mandar Bhujane, equity research analyst at Choice Broking, expects the stock to cross the rupees 300 mark. He has set the target at rupees 310. He said profit booking was observed from its all-time high level today. However, if the price breaks out above rupees 250, it suggests potential further upward movement with projected price targets set at rupees 300 and 310. Gaurav Bissa, VP at Incred Securities, said short-term traders are advised to book profit and long-term investors can hold for the long term. Fresh entry is advised at around rupees 200 to 210 zone, which will be the retest of the triangle breakout. Back to you, Sakshi.
Thanks, Asim, for all that update. Mr. Shokalingam, the power financing space has come back, again REC, PFC, IRIDA, they're back with all the focus on the renewable energy space that probably the government and the upcoming budget could also have. Where do you think the outperformance can lie from here on in the next leg of the run-up?
I may be absolutely wrong, but I don't think the outperformance will come from PFC and REC. I think it's done phenomenally well. and in terms of valuation also it's extraordinarily stretched. So rather than expecting outperformance from these two stocks, I would definitely expect something like from Kotak Bank, which is market cap is a little over 3 lakh crore. Its subsidiaries valuation is a little over 1 lakh crore. They just started unlocking, general insurance. There's a lot more to unlock. So that is the kind of stock which can, medium to long term can outperform rather than REC, PFC. That's my strong view.
Fair point. Let's just change a couple of sectors and look at where a lot of action is coming back. And Sakshi, this is Lupin. If you look at the quarterly chart of Lupin, we are now almost highest since January 2016. So that's a 8-year breach that is happening, and the rally started at about 600 rupees from the low of April 2023, and from then on it's just rocketed in one direction. All-time high of Lupin is 2130. This was in October of 2015. So these are long term charts which are turning very positives. In terms of the background research on Lupin, Mr. Chokalingam, anything that catches your fancy which might explain this fantastic rally on Lupin?
Yeah, see, it has been a great company, no doubt. In fact, a couple of times I went right, but finally last time I went wrong. The kind of business they built in the domestic formulation is really amazing. The size and the kind of valuation you see the domestic formulation is phenomenal. If you look at the companies like, Aries Pharma, JB Chemical, they command even 8 to 10 times enterprise value to sales. So the problem for Lupin was American business. I think there is improvement in both domestic as well as foreign business, and that's why it has done very well. Those who are lucky to hold, they can continue to hold. It can go to even 2,000 rupees from the current level.
Okay, got that. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Chokalingam, for being with us on this show and sharing all those wonderful ideas and insights as well. We'll have you back very soon to get all our viewers to understand more insights from you. So thank you so much for being with us on this special edition. Kunal Rambia now joining in, founder of The Streets. Kunal, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time out for Business Today and for Market Today. Your own sense, how are you looking at this fresh momentum that's being built up in the markets after just about a few days of consolidation? Bulls are back on the street, claiming newer highs. Something that we were thinking that probably may take a little longer, but not too difficult to put the bulls, too much away from the markets and the street. 24,433, where do you see the markets headed? Right in front of the earnings as well as the budget.
Very good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to Shel, sir. So if you look at the overall trend of the market, the Nifty has been in sideways consolidation since a couple of days, as you mentioned, and today was a fresh breakout which we witnessed. And the sky is the limit for it. I think it can go up to 24,750 kind of levels, even from the present level. But here, it's going to be very selective move. I mean, not the every counter will perform probably from this point in time. At the same time, we have to be very choosy when we select index trading also. If you look at Nifty, it's right now up by around 110 points. Look at Bank Nifty, it's just up by around 130 points. So we have to be very selective. It's the stock specific move which will ride the rally from here on. It's not going to be a gung-ho move which we probably witnessed a couple of months back. So stock specific focus has to be more.
.302 p.m. Kunal, just 28 minutes left in trade. Anything on the chart that catches your fancy within the auto ancillary space, or any of the technical charts that look good for a nice bump up over the next 2-3 days?
Sure, sir. We both are a fan of Maruti. That's what I've heard you speaking multiple times in the past. And look at the chart today, a massive uptick. And look at the consolidation. That consolidation is from April to July so far. Consistent resistance on the chart is at around 12,980. Let's round it off to 13,000 levels. and on the lower side the support was at 12,250 kind of levels, and today it's up by around 7%. I think if this counter manages to cross 12,950, 13,000 levels, then the new rally, fresh rally might just emerge from the present level, and the targets can be 14,000. So I'm just looking at this one counter in the entire auto space, and that's Maruti. I'm very bullish on it. I'm just waiting for the trigger of 13,000 to initiate the buy with the stop loss of 12,500.
Okay. Got that. So that's as far as Maruti is concerned, and that clearly is the stock of the day that we've been discussing ad nauseum, and you do see more and more fans emerge, and we will continue to circle back and see whether the Maruti stock will now hit its or re-hit the record high of earlier times and see a new record coming in on that one or not. Beyond this, the auto and the auto ancillary pack as well. Are you also looking at PSU banks as a story? Kunal, strong surge can be seen yet again after a long haul. Stocks like Union Bank of India, Central Bank, IOB, PSB, Indian Bank, Bank of Maharashtra, they're all coming back in full force.
Absolutely, I'm very bullish, and in fact, I can explain on the hourly chart of IOB. Look at the perfect falling wedge formation, and that breakout came today at around 9:15 candle itself. When the counter went up by almost 4.5%, it made a high of around 68. Came back, retested the levels of breakout, which was 64, and right now it's at 64.5. The similar kind of formation. See, we have been discussing this space since quite a long time on our shows, right? There are three stocks which I love the most. The first is IOB, second is Central Bank, and third is Bank of Maharashtra. All three of them are in the same formation, and I think the new rally might just emerge from this level. Today's high is going to be very important as a new momentum breakout. So let's take an example of IOB above, I think 68. We can expect the targets of around 80 levels. On the lower side, if someone wants to accumulate, present level can be a good level. The stop loss will be 62. And the trend is absolutely strong on the weekly chart as well as on the daily chart. It's been a sideways consolidating counter since last 3 to 4 months. I think this is coming to an end very soon. So yes, very bullish on entire PSU banking sector.
Okay, and if you notice very clearly, all of these stocks are trading between 62 and 65 rupees. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the holy grail. Low ticket, high beta counters that respond to a lot of technical indicators in the cash markets. सामने से कोई बेचने वाला है नहीं. A lot of it is tied up in government holding, so the free float is very less, and the moment that a technical indicator comes alive, these stocks start flying. One point I'd just like to check with you, Kunal, is Titan, and we are going to show you the 3200 call for Titan expiring at July 25. The price should be upon you fairly shortly. It's trading at somewhere like 76, 70, 81 rupees if I'm not wrong. Any view that you would have on this one on a positional basis?
Sir, if you look at the weekly chart, now let's go back and see the levels of September 2023. The extreme lows were 3,100. Those lows were held on for almost 3 months. Then we saw a massive rally till around 3,800. The recent correction, which we saw somewhere in the month of May and June, counter came back to 3,200. In fact, this week, yesterday's low itself is 3,125, which is equal to September 2023 low. Now, this is the final support. As of now, the stock is in sideways negative consolidation on the daily chart. But if you look at the weekly chart, it's near to the previous bottom itself. Risk reward ratio is extremely favorable. Day's high can be a good trigger to initiate buy, which is already it's trading near to the high itself. So with the extreme low stop loss of 3,100, one can initiate a buy. Immediate targets can be 3,400, and above that the targets can be 3,600. Now we know it's a giant, so it might just take its own time, but risk reward ratio is extremely favorable for positional traders. One can initiate a buy with 100 points as a stop loss on this.
Okay, earnings upon us. RS Software, this is a small cap company from the IT space. Net profit for the third quarter is at 3 crore rupees versus 2.3 crore rupees a year ago, and revenue has shot up from 11.1 crores in the year ago quarter to 18.7 crores. The company has also declared a dividend of 5 rupees per share. Let us just see what RS Software is doing on the screens, down 14 rupees to 66. Well, this is classic sell on news. What else is buzzing? Havells Blue Star. Kunal, your pick. Blue Star 1831 or Havells above 1800? What looks good?
Well, sir, Havells again sideways consolidating counter, and if you look at the high of 24th May, that was around 1925. Today's high was 1938. It's right now trading at 1925. Now, this closing above 1925 can trigger a new rally on Havells with the stop loss of around 1850. One can initiate a buy, and the targets can be 2150 to 2200. Now, it's again a consolidation breakout. So, I'll go ahead with Havells as the best pick among the entire space. And if you look at the trend is really been strong since the beginning of 2024. So yes, thumbs up for Havells.
Thumbs up for Havells. Okay, we'll take your focus back to a space where you hardly go, and that is Zomato again, and it's at a fresh record high today. Your sense, would you take it?
Absolutely, yeah. So there is a clear breakout, and that breakout was at around 200 levels. And see, I mean, this counter, well, let's not even discuss about anything else. The trending counter, right, and the extreme low somewhere in April 23 or 50. Right now, it's trading at 212. There was only one decline in between, and that decline ended somewhere in June 2024, the recent month itself. And see, again, the trend emerged. So yes, one can keep on accumulating this counter. Let's keep the stop loss for now at 202 and ride the rally. If someone wants to buy presently, you can buy at this level. By any chance there is a decline to say around 207-8 levels, that can also be a good level to accumulate. Till the time the counter remains about 200, I don't think there is any trouble. One can certainly accumulate on every decline.
Okay, and Kunal, I'm sure you're going to be extremely happy because we now have somebody very, very special joining us on this special broadcast, and that is Mr. R.C. Bhargav, the chairperson of Maruti Suzuki India, is with us. Good afternoon, sir, and thank you so much for taking the time out. Sakshi this side. And I want to say that the one stock that we have been discussing from the time the stock markets were about to open today till now is Maruti Suzuki all the way. 12,828 is the stock price. It's up 6.5%. And probably the trigger that we found early in the morning was UP government's waiving off the registration fee on hybrid cars, and the street seems to be of the view that Maruti is going to be a big beneficiary of this. How are you assessing this move that the UP government has done? What will it really do to your upcoming sales in this month? Because this is with an immediate effect. And how do you really see the move impacting you, sir?
Well, I'm actually not that much excited about the immediate improvement in sales this month or next month. What I'm very happy about, and which I would like to congratulate the UP government, is that they are the first persons who have recognized and implemented the need for encouraging other technologies besides electric vehicles for achieving our goal of getting to zero emission of carbon and for reducing the import of imported oil. So I think UP government has been the leader in this matter, and I think they should be commended for that. This impact is, of course, going to be on sale, but I think it's going to have a much bigger and wider impact than what most people are looking at.
Okay. Mr. Bhargav, then do tell us, how big a portion of a hybrid and hybrid EVs is there currently of Maruti Suzuki's entire basket, and where are you going to be looking forward to increasing the expansion on this space, sir?
We would be going for all the technologies. We will be going for electric vehicles, we will be doing hybrids, we will be doing CNG, and we are now hoping that we will be able to get to biogas also. We will push all because I think in India, The market is growing. It's a big market. There is a scope for all technologies to be used, and there is no point and there's no need for any one technology to be pushed.
Mr. Bhargava, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is Shail Bhatnagar. I just like to ask you your expectations from the government as far as the forthcoming national budget is concerned, and what do you hope from the government over the medium term as far as the auto industry is concerned?
Budget will have anything for the automobile industry, but I do hope that government will, like the UP government, now take steps to make policies which will encourage all the alternative technologies which are available, which will make transportation sector cleaner in terms of emission and less consuming of oil and therefore emission. I expect all technologies to be encouraged by the government.
Recording in progress.
Okay, right. Mr. Bhargava, also wanted to understand from you, as far as the PLI schemes are concerned, as far as the government support for the auto space is concerned, what is it that is absolutely essential that you as the industry leader would be hoping from this upcoming budget and from the government, which is now a coalition government, sir? And how does it really make a difference from the time that we've seen the Modi government come out with policies on the auto space thus far?
No, as I said, I don't think the budget is going to have very much for the auto sector, because most of the requirements of the auto sector are handled outside the budget.
Okay. Mr. Bhargav, you've been one of the largest and the most visible wealth creators that the Indian market has seen, from a price of 125 rupees somewhere in the early part of 2000. Maruti is now at about 13,000 rupees. So it's a 100 bagger for those who had the foresight and the intelligence to hold the stock. Now, rival Hyundai also plans to get listed on Indian markets. How do you see this change that has come up, and does this point to a maturity of Indian markets? Do you think there is space for another major listed auto giant on the passenger vehicle side?
Oh, India has enormous potential, and I think the government today, and in the last several years, has created conditions where it has become possible for not one but several large companies to get listed, for the car market to grow steadily, and for general industry to grow. So I think this is only one of the manifestations of what is happening in this country. We are going to grow, we are going to grow fast, and we'll see not one but several companies doing the kind of wealth creation which Maruti has managed.
Mr. Bhargava, I also wanted to understand from you, how is the pricing trend likely to be for the four-wheelers going forward from here, the SUVs and the passenger vehicles going forward in the next 6 months to 1 year perspective, sir?
I don't think the pricing from the factory is going to change because of any of these, whether some states do away with the registration tax, or even if government changes the GST rates or rationalizes them. The company's pricing is not going to change because the cost of production is not changing. But the price to the customer is going to change. That is where the difference will be.
Mr. Bhargav, Maruti started out as the king of small cars, and it has warmed its way into the hearts of millions and millions of Indians. As of now, the trend is towards SUVs, and we have an aspirational India which somehow does not like small cars any longer. How do you see Maruti's profile in terms of its menu of offerings changing over the next 5 years?
I don't think that I would agree with the view that the Indian market does not want small cars. I think there are literally millions and millions of people who are riding scooters who are all aspiring to get to a car, and they would be quite happy to take a small car, and they want a small car because that is what they can afford. So I think the Indian market is going to be at various levels, from the small car to the largest and most luxurious vehicles. We are not like markets and everywhere else in the world. We are a much wider spread market.
Right. Mr. Bhargava, also wanted to ask you, there is this entire discussion about how Tesla could be making a foray into India. How are you looking at these big entrants coming into India, boasting about newer, latest technologies that they have, which is somehow right now not existing in India? Do you think Indian leaders such as you will be able to continue to move, in a speedier way when it comes to competition that may be increasing on the ground now?
Well, India has all the leading global car manufacturers here, at least most of them. And I think they are just as capable of developing technology for electric vehicles or any kind of vehicles as anybody else. Certainly, Tesla was one of the first movers for electric cars, and they've gone ahead because of that. But that doesn't mean that if technology is required in India, it can only come from one company or two companies. I think the existing companies can equally bring in adequate and excellent technologies into India.
With that, Mr. Bhargav, thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure listening to you, and of course hearing about what the future holds as far as India's booming automobile sector is concerned. Thank you so much for your time, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
That, ladies and gentlemen, was Mr. R.C. Bhargav, the chairman of Maruti Suzuki India, and the man at the helm of India's largest automaker since several decades. Sakshi, I remember meeting Mr. Bhargav on the IPO of Maruti, and he was sprightly 70 years then. He's above 90 now, and he still attends office on a regular basis and has a very strong command on the company. He speaks fluent Japanese.
Oh, wonderful. That's wonderful anecdote. Let's get Kunal back on board. Kunal, you heard Mr. R.C. Bhargav talk a whole lot about how the company is going to be looking forward to several opportunities and growth. They're not deterred by any competition that would be coming in, whether on the D street or on the roads, from international players or domestic players as well. Maruti Suzuki, for you, the way Shell has seen a 100-bagger return kind of move from IPO until now, where do you see the move going forward for Maruti?
I really don't think any of the analysts on this street will ever say sell Maruti and buy something else, because that's the trend of the counter which we have seen. And I entered the market somewhere in 2003, 2004 only by looking at Maruti IPO itself. I've seen the entire journey in front of me from 125 till 12,800 today, and I remain extremely bullish on it. So yes, from the trading point of view, it's always gonna be different to sell and make some small bucks out of it. But otherwise, if I look at the trend of this has been the real wealth creator. Just like Maruti, we have many other counters like Titan and others also. Yes, they have been trending counters, and they have created the wealth for the Indians. So I think any decline, whenever the markets come down by say 30-40% in future, obviously because of some reasons, these are the counters which I will always think of accumulating and keep it for the next generation also.
Okay. And there's news from Tata Motors. Tata Motors is revising the starting prices of Harrier and Safari. It's revised the starting price of Harrier to 1.5 million rupees, and the starting price of Safari to 1.55 million rupees as well. This is down from 1.62 million rupees. This is the latest press release that has come in. That's on Tata Motors, 1.2% higher. How are you looking at the competition then, Kunal?
Certainly, if you just compare both the counters now, let's take an example of Maruti and Tata Motors from of the last entire decade. There were many whipsaws seen on Tata Motors chart, right? But if you look at Maruti, it was more or less steady. So, and in the recent formations, Tata Motors, if you see the last 6 to 7 months performance, it's been more or less sideways consolidating counter. The resistance was at around 1040, and the support was somewhere at around 945. So yeah, it's hovering between that itself. By any chance Tata Motors manages to cross this 1030 mark, I think the new rally might just emerge from this level with the target of 1300. One can initiate a buy. But if you again ask me to select one out of two, I'll always go ahead with Maruti over Tata Motors.
Sakshi, you've discussed Tata Motors, we've talked about Maruti threadbare, and of course there will be a listing of Hyundai maybe 1 year from now. Also, a company from the space of passenger vehicles that should be listed in India is Toyota Kirloskar. This is of course the giant SUV player on the D segment of cars, and for the time that I have been in the market for about 20-25 years, there's always a waiting list for their products. So let's hope Hyundai gets listed, let's hope Kirloskar Toyota gets listed, and 25 years from now, we are in 2024, it will be 2049. Kunal, you and I will be discussing the wealth creation that Toyota Kirloskar has done and what Hyundai has done. It's the beauty of Indian markets, this consistent bull run that is prompting a lot of old world MNCs to now get their Indian arms listed because valuations are so good. Therefore, in the pipeline, Hyundai, possibly LG, and possibly Samsung too. So the Koreans who started in the 1990s when the liberalization phase started will also make their presence felt on Indian markets. 3:25 p.m. Let's start wrapping up the market. Century on Bank Nifty, 115 points higher, 52,534. Remember, tomorrow will be the weekly expiry of the Bank Nifty. Nifty 24,426, 106 points higher, 0.5% uptick. And the day today belongs to the autos index, almost at a record high, 2% higher, led by a stunning rally in Maruti, and of course followed up by Eicher Motors, followed up by M&M, Tata Motors, all of them shining and providing a lot of enthusiasm to the Nifty. Newer and better players are coming to take up the baton and take Nifty higher before national budget is announced on 23rd of July, and giving it company today were defensive counters, ITC, Hindustan Unilever and Britannia. Sakshi, yours.
Kunal, how about the power space? Are you looking at that space also keenly? Adani Power, Torrent Power, CESE. Of course, there's a tariff hike news on that front too. Diamond Power has just got about 900 odd crore rupees order from Adani Energy. How are you looking at this entire buzzing space?
See, absolutely, Sakshi, the trend is very much intact. If you look at Adani Power, the recent high was 887, 890, and it just came down to 700. But yeah, the trend is absolutely intact. In fact, today's move is showing the first sign of the consolidation coming to an end and a new rally emerging. So in the entire space, I have shortlisted as of now Adani Power itself. The price is at around 725 with the stop loss of around 700. One can initiate a buy, and the target on this can again be 850. Now it's a positional target which I'm sharing with our viewers. Those who want to trade, just want to take up a small trade, can initiate a buy about today's high, that's 745 with the stop loss of 720, and the targets can be 780. But I'm very bullish on these all trending counters, and out of the entire pack of power sector, I think I'll go ahead with Adani Power as of now.
Okay, you'll go with Adani Power as of now. So it's the auto space, that's up by over 2%. Consumer durables, pharma, PSU banks, realty, FMCG, all of them up by over 1% each. IT space is, in a negative bias right now, and so is the oil and gas space. Rest of the sectors, they're all buzzing in trade right now. Let's also look at the stocks that are not contributing. It's Reliance Industries that's seen some profits being taken off, 0.7% lower, keeping the market momentum in check. Tata Consumer Products, Bajaj Finance, JSW Steel, ONGC, Shriram Finance, these are the drags. But the momentum continuing within the Nifty Next 50, even the broader markets, there is a fair amount of action coming in. From the broadest index, of course, stocks like we had highlighted even before, Bombay Pharma, RPP Infra, Blue Star, Dunseri Tea, you have D-Link India, Jubilant Ingriva, Harrison Malayalam, Lloyd's Engineering, McLeod Russell, PC Jewelers, you have Landmark Property, Rossell India, Kohinoor Foods, ITD Cementation, Sarda Energy and Minerals. These are the stocks that are buzzing anywhere between 9 to even 18% higher in trade as of now. We also have several other stocks. Let me discuss the insurance space also very, very quickly. Last word from you, Kunal. LIC of India, I think that's up by about 2% again. Again, strong volumes today. How are you looking at the stock?
So I had a couple of counters for BTST and for short-term trading. One of them was LIC itself, and look at the counter. It's perfectly curve formation counter and reaching near the previous high, which is around 1045, 1050. So it's a buy as of now. The stop loss will be 1020. If the counter manages to cross about 1050 in a day or two, then I think the targets can be as high as 1150 to 1175, and it might just show us the all-time high also. So very bullish on entire insurance space. Shortlisted to HDFC Life, and the second is LIC for now.
Okay, got that. 24,414 right now for the Nifty. Thank you so much, Kunal, for being with us on this very special edition and sharing all those thoughts and ideas for all our viewers. And we will continue to track Maruti Suzuki even tomorrow as well. Maruti continues to remain the top mover on the Nifty and the top mover within the F&O space, 6.5% higher in trade. That's the stock that we have watched out for all day. Mahindra & Mahindra follow suit, 2.4% higher. Divi's Laboratories has jumped within the last few minutes, 2.5% up. Titan, Hindalco, Cipla, ITC, Sun Pharma, Britannia. These remain as the top movers on the Nifty. Within the F&O space, beyond Maruti and Ipca Laboratories, you have Colgate, Bosch, Apollo Tyres and PI Industries as the other big movers. Sectorally, autos, consumer durables, pharma, PSU banks, realty, FMCG remain as the top movers on this space. We'll wrap it up at that, viewers, but do stay tuned. It's a great day that has panned out for the markets. The screen is frozen, 24,417, a strong day of trade, and we will see whether this momentum gets carried on tomorrow. Until then, many thanks for watching this edition, but stay tuned on Business Today as the action continues on the other side. With that, it's thanks and goodbye for now from both Shell and me.
Can we look at the 12,600 Maruti call? This is moving fairly rapidly. It's already moved quite a bit, but this is something which is coming after many weeks. Maybe this is something that catches your interest. The all-time high on this call is somewhere like 629 rupees, now buzzing at about 219. I'm requesting the PCR